Hello Aries, it's been a while. So this is your love reading for February as Valentine's Day approaches. So I'm going to sort of look at what might be coming up this weekend and afterwards as you head into March. I know I've been away a while. I'll probably make a video explaining why. But let's just get started here. The first row will be 3 cards from the past. The first card is 2 of Swords. I have Temperance, Page of Wands. So this is the past. This is the present. Page of Pentacles. 9 of Cups. 9 of Swords. So you have 2 9s and 2 pages. I'll explain what those might mean. You have an 8 of Swords. 4 of Swords, and you also have a lot of swords, so a few themes are starting to pop up here. And then you have the Fool. Okay, so I will pull one more card, and that will be the outcome card. But yes, very, very interesting here. Sorry, had to adjust my lamp. I got a new lighting kit. So let's look at what's going on here. So as I said, first off, I always like to focus on the major arcana. And I'm not seeing a lot. You only have 2 from what I can see. You have Temperance, and then you have the Fool. Now, Temperance is about finding peace and balance, emotional peace and balance. The Fool is about liberation, following your bliss, following your own path. And sometimes it just means breaking away, starting over again, a new beginning, looking for starting a new chapter and not being afraid. Okay, heading into the great unknown in your life. So I feel like Aries, and you're a fire sign, so we do have some wands here. Keep in mind that the Fool has a wand and the Page of Pentacles has a wand. This is significant. They're both holding one wand. The Ace of Wands, you'll see one hand holding that wand, which is fire. That is your intent. When you hold a wand, it's your personal power and you're acting on it. It's not just about daydreaming about what you'd like to do. When you pick up the wand, you're setting your intentions and you're taking action on those intentions. So I kind of feel like, because the Page of Wands is in the past, you're sort of like getting an idea that you're ready to start over, a little boy. And you have these 2 pages, which pages can represent young people, beginners. But by the time you get here to the future, all grown up, much bigger, much wiser, much mature. So I feel like your romantic path this Valentine's Day is going to be all about you breaking away, taking risks, getting out of ruts. Again, this doesn't mean you're necessarily leaving someone behind. It can mean a new chapter in a relationship, taking a risk in a relationship. And wands represent fire. Fire also brings about change. And so that's always a good thing. Always embrace change. Never be afraid. And I feel like that's the message, the overall message the Oracle is telling you. Find your balance. Find your emotional zen. Find your happiness. And don't give it up. Act on it. So those were your two major arcanas. The other thing, you've got 4 swords here. 4 cards with swords. Swords are never easy cards. Usually when swords show up, there's a lot of thinking, decision making. Sometimes it can mean anxiety. Sometimes it can mean setting your mental boundaries. Okay? So when we get to this 2 of Swords here, this is about decision making. You'll notice that you actually have 2 swords with a blindfold. That's very important because the blindfold means that something is obstructing you from seeing the truth. You're not seeing the big picture, and you've got to take that blindfold off. And because you're not seeing the big picture, it's giving you a lot of anxiety, it's giving you a lot of fear, you feel trapped, you don't know what to do. And so Aries, you've got your fire energy, but at the same time, before you can start using those wands, you've got to take the blindfold off and set your intentions. So the 2 of Swords, you've got to drop one of those swords in order to understand the truth. And when you hold up one sword, that Ace of Swords, it means enlightenment, it means truth, it means making a big decision. So this 8 of Swords, you see she's trapped, she thinks she's trapped, but she's not. She can get out anytime she wants to. All she has to do is take the blindfold off. And so a lot of you Aries people, whether you're in a relationship or whether you have a love interest, it's going to be about seeing things for what they are before you can set your intentions and act on them. So, heading to this past energy with 2 of Swords and Temperance, finding balance. You're going from being indecisive and using that duality here in Temperance, because she's got, this cherub has 2 cups, right? And so it's about emotional balance and knowing what's right for you, deciding what's good for you in this relationship. So when we get to the Page of Wands, this young boy, what we're seeing here is a breakthrough, a mini breakthrough about the relationship, where it seems as if things are starting to go fine. Sometimes this can mean good news, a happy event, and it can also mean starting a new adventure. A new adventure that you didn't, a new adventure that you're looking forward to, like a new relationship, even a reunion, making up, breaking up, that type of thing. But interestingly enough, as we leave this first row, heading into the present, we're starting to see these swords come up. Note that you've got 3 cards with swords, 3 in a row. And so for some of you who are in a relationship, there's going to be a little bit of turbulence, that whatever happens in the next few days or the next week, it's going to sort of jostle you a little bit. I feel like the universe is going to get you to open your eyes and stop going through the same cycles over and over of anxiety and things repeating themselves, negative patterns in a relationship. So you start off with another Page of Pentacles, a beginner. And this is a problem-solving card. Doing research, going to school and learning. In a relationship reading, it can mean you and your partner trying to figure something out, trying to resolve a problem. This is in the middle of your spread, and usually the center card for this particular spread I usually look at it as the root card, like what is the issue here? And this is about emotional well-being and security with the people you love. And it's also the wish card, that whatever you wish for comes true. But I noticed that this emotional happiness, this 9 of Cups, becomes this 9 of Swords. And sometimes this can be about emotional vampires. Again, anxiety. You see she's in the bed, the swords are hovering above her. She might be having a nightmare. There's something that is keeping her from having a deep rest. She can't rest. And so this is important because a partner or even an ex-partner could be causing you a lot of anxiety. You know, you might be happy for a while, you might think you're starting over, but then this 9 of Swords comes from the 9 of Cups, and again you find yourself in that same cycle. That, you know, like I thought we were going to make it, I thought we were going to get past this. So when we head into the future, that's when you run into this group of swords feeling trapped. This 4 of Swords is about hiding. Some of you might find that a partner is starting to hide, not physically, but emotionally they're running away. So whenever you see this, sometimes it can mean taking a break. Sometimes it means taking a rest. And yes, it can mean a breakup. And I just want to say, and I'm not trying to make anybody depressed, but historically, especially when I give readings, I find that Valentine's Day or any holiday is when most couples tend to break up. You know, it's I don't know how to describe it, but holidays usually become this relationship cauldron where everything that is a weak spot in the relationship becomes amplified. Okay, so I need to do a little editing here. But the last card that you see after the 4 of Swords is the Fool. The Fool is about liberation, following your bliss, and freedom. And it could very well be that in the next few weeks after Valentine's Day, that the relationship will either end or you will be free. You will be free of all these swords happening and all of the emotional distress and issues and the cycles that you keep going through. You're going to be done with the disappointment. And furthermore, you shouldn't be afraid. I know that a lot of people watch these videos because they want to confirm that a relationship is going to move forward or go to the next level. But sometimes being able to let go to move on to bigger and better things is good. And so I do want to explain that based on the swords surrounding the Fool, that it feels as if in the next few weeks, as I said, that cauldron that tends to happen, that cauldron is going to bring a lot of relationship issues to a head. Those swords, Aries, you're fire. And fire cannot survive without air. And swords represent air. And so what those swords are doing, the 9 of Swords, 8 of Swords, 4 of Swords, and then you have the 2 of Swords in the past, these swords are bringing all the relationship issues that you're going through with your partner to a head. And that's when you take up your wand again. You're going to take up that fire. And I see you just saying, you know, there has to be better. I'm not going through this another year, and you should embrace that. And it can also mean, yes, a temporary breakup as well. Sometimes you need to take some space. Sometimes your partner needs to take some space. And again, that's not a bad thing. And sometimes when the universe brings change to you, it's bringing that change for a reason. It's bringing that change for a better situation, not necessarily something that's devastating. And it may hurt, but on the other end, when you make it through, chances are you will feel a lot better. So let's look at your outcome card. Okay, so your outcome card is the King of Cups. And this is lovely because it follows the Fool. It follows letting go. It follows you searching for your bliss. It follows you taking a risk. And whatever that risk is, it's going to bring you happiness. And that's always a good thing. And so that was your reading, Aries. It's good to be back. My special 15-minute phone readings for $10. That's for the month of February, the rest of February, and all of March as we approach spring. So that's my springtime special, if you will. Thank you guys so much for your support. I look forward to reconnecting with you guys. Take care. I hope you have a lovely weekend. And as always, I wish you love and light.